The global pandemic has taken many turns over the course of these past more than 18 months. The challenge that all governments have faced all around the world is to seek to understand these changes as quickly as we possibly can and adjust how we're dealing with those changes as quickly as we can to achieve the same goals that we've always had, and that is to save lives and to save livelihoods. The Delta strain of the COVID-19 pandemic is taking a heavy toll all around the world. What Australia is dealing with right now is no different to countries all around the world, whether it's in the United Kingdom, where we're seeing around almost 50,000 cases a day, 94 deaths yesterday. We're seeing similar very high rates of infection in Indonesia. We're seeing it in the developing world. We're seeing it in the developed world. We're seeing lockdowns occur back in Singapore again. We've seen Netherlands opened and shut within days of their Freedom Day. And, of course, we are seeing what is largely a very significant experiment occurring in the United Kingdom as we see now, and we wish them the best. We wish every single country in the world all the best and hope for the best as they each wrestle with the very difficult challenges that have emerged with this most recent strain. Now, this, of course, is impacting here in Australia. We have had great success in saving lives and livelihoods. I don't think anyone would contradict that. 30,000 lives at least saved in this country, 1 million people back into work. About 3.5 million people in particular supported through income supports last year, with unprecedented levels of economic intervention brought to bear by the federal government to see Australia through to now. State governments have put in place the world's best contact tracing systems. They have built up the capacity of their health systems to cope with surges in cases. And as a result, as a country, we have had that success. But the Delta strain is throwing another big challenge at our country. But we're up to it, and we'll deal with it, just as we've dealt with each and every one of these challenges to date. So it is important to all Australians out there today, whether they're in Sydney, whether they're in Orange, whether they're across in South Australia today or right across Victoria, and particularly in the suburbs most affected. It's tough, and it's going to continue to be tough in the weeks ahead and potentially months ahead as we continue to wrestle with this new strain of this virus, and we adapt our responses to fight it, just as we have with every other episode that we've gone through as we've responded to the coronavirus pandemic all around the world. Now, today, once again, we are hitting new marks with our vaccination program. I'll be open with you. We've had our challenges with this program. We've had significant challenges with this program, as many countries have. But what matters is how you respond to them. What matters is how you fix the things that need to be fixed and get the program doing what it needs to be doing and hitting the vaccination rates it needs to hit to ensure that we can get to where we need to be, where we want to be. Today, with the most recent 7 days data, we've finally hit that mark of 1 million doses in arms in a week. We've been working towards that now for weeks. A few weeks back, we're in the 700s, thousands and the 800,000s. Well, now, Australia, you've got us to 1 million a week. In this same week, we've seen 1 million doses of Pfizer turn up, and we've gone from 300,000 doses a week, escalating to 1 million doses coming every week with Pfizer. And we started that process of securing that bring forward of supply back in May of this year. And so we're pleased to see those come through. Particularly want to thank the GP network and all of those working in vaccination all around the country that is enabling us to hit these marks. And it does mean that at these rates of vaccination, we will get to where we want to get to. The supplies increasing, the points of presence increasing, 320 new GP points of presence for Pfizer established this week. More pharmacies coming online with AstraZeneca to support the effort where there aren't sufficient GPs in those places, and Lieutenant General Fruin bringing on more pharmacies as we go into the weeks and into the months ahead as the supply continues to support those changes. So 1 million doses in 7 days. We're at almost another record day today in the total number of vaccines delivered in a day, and that is at 174,589. So that's what we have to keep doing to hit the marks that we need to keep hitting to ensure that we can put Australia in the best possible position that we can be in as we continue to combat the Delta strain. But the tools we've used to fight the virus in the past, such as the contact tracing and the QR codes and all of this, the Delta strain has thrown new challenges at that. And as a result, the lockdown measures that have been put in place, we will continue working with and adjusting and changing as we need to get them right to ensure we can both save lives and save livelihoods and do all we can to minimise the burden on the Australian population. But as we are seeing around the country and around the world, even with countries that have higher vaccination rates than Australia and New Zealand, that have similar vaccination rates on double doses, and in fact our first doses are far higher. All around the world, they're dealing with the challenges of Delta, and so are we.